Have you ever wondered why some football players get injured once, recover, and then come back stronger? But others seem trapped in an endless cycle of pain, no matter how many treatments they receive, no matter how many specialists they visit. The injuries just keep coming back. And right now, no player represents that mystery better than Neymar Jr., one of the most gifted footballers of his generation, a player who could dribble past entire defenses, a player who once looked destined to dominate football for more than a decade. Yet today, many fans are asking the same question. Why does Neymar keep getting injured? And more importantly, what exactly happened in his latest injury? Because this isn't just another football story. It's actually a fascinating lesson in how the human body works, and how even the world's best athletes can become victims of biology. Let's find out. Recently, Neymar suffered a grade 2 calf muscle injury. At first, that might not sound serious. After all, it's not an ACL tear, it's not a broken bone, it's not a season-ending injury. But don't let that fool you. For football players, calf injuries can be incredibly frustrating, especially for explosive athletes like Neymar. To understand why, we first need to understand what the calf actually does. The calf is made up primarily of two muscles, the gastrocnemius and the soleus. Together, they act like powerful springs. Every time a player accelerates, changes direction, jumps, lands, or sprints, the calf absorbs and produces enormous amounts of force. In elite football, this muscle can experience forces several times greater than body weight, and that's where the problem begins. A grade 2 strain means the muscle fibers are partially torn, not completely ruptured, but damaged enough to reduce strength and function. Think about a thick rope. Now imagine cutting a significant portion of the fibers. The rope still exists, but it's much weaker. That's essentially what happens inside the muscle. The damaged fibers trigger inflammation. Pain receptors become activated. The body starts a repair process, and suddenly, even basic movements become difficult. But here's the interesting part. The injury itself may not be the biggest problem. The bigger question is, why did it happen in the first place? Because muscles rarely fail for no reason. There is usually a chain of events leading up to the injury. And in Neymar's case, several factors may have contributed. The first factor is age. When athletes are young, recovery happens incredibly fast. Damaged tissues regenerate more efficiently, muscles adapt more quickly, and the body can tolerate greater training loads. But as athletes enter their 30s, things begin to change. Recovery becomes slower. Tissues lose some elasticity. Small weaknesses become more significant. Neymar is no longer the 22-year-old superstar from Barcelona. His body has accumulated years of stress, years of impacts, years of wear and tear. The second factor is injury history, and this may be even more important. Sports scientists often describe the body as a chain. If one link becomes weaker, the entire system is affected. Neymar has suffered multiple major injuries throughout his career: ankle injuries, muscle injuries, and most importantly, an ACL injury. When a player returns from a major injury, the body often develops compensation patterns. Some muscles work harder than they should, others become less active. Movement mechanics subtly change, and over time, those compensations can increase the risk of new injuries elsewhere. The third factor is explosive movement. Neymar's style of football is extremely demanding. He doesn't play like a stationary striker. He's constantly accelerating, stopping, twisting, changing direction, dribbling. These movements create enormous stress on the lower body, especially on the calves, hamstrings, knees, and ankles. The more explosive the athlete, the greater the risk when fatigue appears. And that brings us to another major factor: fatigue. Many injuries don't occur because a muscle is weak. They occur because a tired muscle can no longer absorb force effectively. As fatigue builds, reaction times slow down, movement quality decreases, joint control becomes less precise, and injury risk rises dramatically. Sometimes all it takes is one sprint, one sudden acceleration, one awkward step, and the muscle reaches its limit. Now let's talk about recovery. What would help Neymar recover from this injury, and what can ordinary people learn from it? The first priority is controlled healing, not aggressive training, not rushing back. Healing tissues need time. Trying to force recovery usually makes things worse. During the early phase, sports medicine teams focus on reducing pain and inflammation, maintaining blood flow, and preventing excessive muscle loss. As healing progresses, the goal changes. Now the focus becomes rebuilding strength, especially eccentric strength. Eccentric exercises are incredibly important. This is when a muscle produces force while lengthening. Research consistently shows that eccentric training improves muscle resilience. For calf rehabilitation, examples include slow heel drops, single-leg calf raises, controlled lowering movements. These exercises teach the muscle to tolerate force again. The next step is rebuilding power. Because football isn't played in slow motion, eventually Neymar must sprint, accelerate, jump, and change direction. That requires plyometric training, bounding drills, jump training, sprint progressions, and sport-specific movement patterns. Another critical area is load management. This is where many athletes make mistakes. Recovery isn't just about treatment, it's about balancing stress and adaptation. Too little training, and the body becomes weak. Too much training, and the body breaks down. The challenge is finding the perfect middle ground. Sleep also plays a huge role. In fact, many people underestimate how important it is. While sleeping, the body releases growth hormone. Protein synthesis increases. Tissue repair accelerates. Recovery literally happens while you sleep. Poor sleep can slow healing dramatically, even in elite athletes. Nutrition matters too. The body cannot rebuild tissue without raw materials. Protein provides amino acids needed for muscle repair. Vitamin C supports collagen production. Omega-3 fatty acids may help regulate inflammation. Hydration helps maintain tissue function. Recovery starts in the kitchen as much as it does in the gym. But here's the truth that many fans don't want to hear. There may not be a magic solution. There may not be one exercise, one treatment, or one doctor who can completely solve the problem. Because Neymar's challenge isn't just this calf injury, it's the accumulation of years of football, thousands of training sessions, thousands of impacts, and a body that has been pushed to its limits for more than a decade. So when people ask, why does Neymar keep getting injured? The answer is more complicated than it seems. It's age, it's previous injuries, it's explosive movement, it's fatigue, it's biomechanics, it's recovery, it's football itself. And sometimes, even the greatest athletes in the world cannot completely escape those realities. Because no matter how talented you are, the human body always has limits. And understanding those limits is the first step towards staying healthy. The science behind Neymar's latest injury isn't really just about Neymar. It's about every athlete, every football player, and every person who has ever wondered why injuries happen and what it really takes to come back stronger.